she should be ashamed of herself.
The fellatio conversation.
Oh my God.
That was wild.
She gonna throw her pum pum in the man. Listen, y'all. We talking about Claire and Cameron.
I said, but Claire and Cameron were specifically trying to do what they had to do to navigate the awkward spaces that they kept finding themselves in.
Yeah.
And so they had to tackle all of this because they couldn't just they couldn't just eat breakfast together. It was always something. It was always something with them. So they had to figure out a way to just get to tomorrow.
Yeah. It was nice to see that, if I'm being honest. Emily and Brennan, let me tell you something about Emily. She is a trooper. Like, Emily got her hair in a knot and couldn't even get it out. They had to cut her hair to get it out. And
that was crazy.
First things first, women, stop wearing synthetic extensions. A lot of times y'all are buying these expensive extensions and they're human hair blend when you need to go to the Unices, the GM girl or whatever, the Nadulas, and get you some bundles, get them bleach, and then let a mother jump up, because that was you throwing synthetic extensions up into a little ball in the back of your head to put on this helmet, and you thinking you was going to take that helmet off after being in salt water. That's really what that was, okay? And then what happened? You got to cut your hair out, and I felt so bad for her. But when I mean she was like hanging in there, and she had fell and sprained her arm, I'm starting to feel like she having a no good, very bad day. Okay.
She kind of is, because I think we didn't find out yet, but like we later find out that like her arm is broke or something like that. Like she broke her wrist or something.
Right. She like really, like she is going through it on this honeymoon, and she is just smiling through.
Well, I think that Emily and Brennan really like each other. So I think that that's helping the situation as well. Cause I
don't even think she know what the hell that mean.
They seem like they get along.
They do that.
To me. You know what I mean? So, especially compared to Claire and Cameron, they seem like they just rocking out with each other. You know what I mean? They kind of have this kind of weird chemistry that Becca and Austin also have, where they seem like they just kind of, even though they don't have the conversation that Becca and Austin have, they seem like they are very comfortable with each other.
So I'm going to say something, and y'all might not like this, but I think that Emily is one of those women. Oh, this is going to sound bad. And this is not a dig on Emily, because I really do enjoy her. I think she is one of those women who is aesthetically pleasing. And when men meet her, they really like her. And then when men hang out with her, they've had enough.
Oh, I can see that.
And I think that they like each other now. And I like Emily. I like Emily a lot. I'm a girl's girl. I think she is too. I like her. I just think it's something. Some people are just likable. And I think that some people give you good first impressions, but they're terrible humans. And not that she's a terrible human, but I think it might be questionable.
I think there's a reason why she hasn't had a relationship or whatever that is. And I think
because she's a beautiful girl.
I think that part of it is she doesn't have a problem, obviously, attracting anybody.
Right.
But I do think that she could be scaring people away once they do meet her. I think it's something.
She might lay it on a little thick, but I think I like her. I'm not going to lie. And I think that even the way that she was handling herself, because she could have ruined the whole vacation. Oh, this is annoying me. She could have literally been like, I'm annoyed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And the fact that she just kept going says a lot about her personality. Yeah. And I think, like, I love that. Like, I love that. But Brennan has a very, what do they say? Nonchalant attitude. And I think he need to be more chalant.
I think they paired them like that purposely, because she seems like she is the new baby puppy that want to jump on everything, and he's the complete opposite. And I think that's part of why they've been gelling a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Because they do have that yin and a yang where she's like, and he's just like, oh, that's cool. You broke your wrist. I'm chilling. Like, we just going to go inside, wrap it up. Like, you know what I mean? He just kind of got that vibe. I think that's part of why they get along.
One of my favorite moments in these last 2 episodes is when all of the couples got together and Becca said that they should play this game where they would just ask each other like certain questions about themselves. And it was fun to watch Cameron kind of come out of his shell. Like he talked about his pet peeves. Like if it's like he going to the store and there's no self-checkout. He walking right out. That was hilarious. I'm like, because I feel the exact opposite.
I think that, but I think that that's Cameron being comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where he hasn't been able to tap into with Claire because he doesn't feel like he has a place to be himself. Because whenever you see Cameron with the guys or in the group setting, he's like, he seems great. Yeah. And then you see him with Claire, and he's like fumbling over his words and doesn't know what to say. And he talks
really nicely about her as well. And I appreciate that. Like, even though they're trying to figure each other out, he always says it from a very positive space. Like, it can only go up from here. Like, I really do love that about them. And I thought it was really cool to hear, like, hear about his past and how he feels like it's such he doesn't even know that person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's such a far and away from who he is today. And how, like, that would be something we would have to unpack in therapy. Like, what does that mean?
1,000%.
Like, I would want to know more about that. You know what I mean? So let's talk about Lauren and Orion. So first of all, I really like Orion. Okay? Like, I really, really like him. You can tell he is hyper self-aware. And I love people who can have a boundary and say, you're crossing my boundary, but it's never disrespectful. Right. Like, I love that about him. And even when they were talking about, like, finances and saying, like, he wants to be the provider, because he said 80-20, and she was like, well, let's stick with 80-20. And he was like, no, I want to be there where I'm providing everything. It may take some time, but that's where I want to be. And I think I'm bringing that up because I don't think enough people, I always tell y'all, like, y'all be looking for people with money, and money don't really mean nothing. You need to be with somebody who's generous. Al Pacino got $1 billion. He wasn't giving a woman. He was with nothing. Like, no thing. Google it. Okay, she couldn't get a bag out that man. So, like, in real life, it's more about, does this person see me as a commodity enough to invest emotionally, mentally, and financially? Yeah. And I think that's what he was getting at. Like, I want to be able to provide, you know? Mm-hmm. And maybe it's 60-40 right now or 70-30, but my goal is for me to take care of you. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, they got a long way to go.
I think that Lauren is really a fascinating character to me because some people only operate well in chaos. And then when you meet somebody who is not chaotic, it's hard to navigate that. Because I think she stirs things up. Her conversations are all over the goddamn place.
What you mean?
I could not understand how this woman, don't get me started about how, but.
Well, yeah. Okay,
so first she asked him what his manscaping, I was just like, is this what y'all be asking men? Have I not dated men for so long that I don't even know that you got to ask a man that?
I don't think she knows what to say to him or how to talk to him.
But my thing is this.
And I think that this is just manifesting itself. This whole debauchery that happened in the beginning. Your thing is what?
I think it's sad. It's sad because I'm speaking to her as a black woman, right? It's very clear to me that she only has distant interactions with other people. Because the question she asked him.
1,000%. So this is why I said what I said in the beginning when I said she asked for a black man. Uh-huh. She got Orion and
an indigenous man.
You can tell that she is a fish out of water and dealing with him. And I think that me and you have specifically been in spaces where you can tell somebody that's talking to us is uncomfortable talking to us, even though we're super comfortable talking to them. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, this is somebody of another race.
Right. Because black people don't occupy their imagination the way that they literally that they occupy ours.
Right.
It's the truth.
So we've been in spaces.
Shout out to Black Cake.
Right. So we've been in spaces where we can tell this person is just uncomfortable being around somebody of my pigmentation because they are not used to it.
Yes.
They are not familiar with me or anybody who look like me. So they asking me all types of weird stuff. They saying weird stuff left and right? And I think that this is that situation happening in reverse.
I feel like so often black women are made to feel subhuman that we don't even know how to exist. We don't even know how to be amongst other people and exist. The idea that you would ever, this just a man. Like, have you met men? The truth is, most of them operate just about the same. It's like, almost like she hasn't been allowed to be human. So then she is in spaces with these people and she don't know what to do. It's very icky. It gives me the ick.
I think that a lot of people paint themselves to be a lot more culturally educated and a lot more worldly than they really are.
And that's it.
I think these words are thrown around a lot.
That's it.
I think a lot of y'all have not been nowhere.
No. Respectfully. And you can almost tell.
You could tell
immediately with an E.
As soon as somebody opened their mouth, you could tell.
Yes,
1,000%. Y'all haven't been around nobody. Y'all haven't left y'all community, your neighborhood. You're comfortable, a bubble of family, friends, people who look like you, think like you, talk like you, walk like you, frequent the same restaurants, eat the same stuff, drink the same stuff.
1,000%.
And I think that a lot of us, because we got access to the internet, everybody's worldly. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the World Wide Web.
Right. But that's not the world. Exactly.
That's not how that works.
Because you have the World Wide Web.
That's not how that works. And I think that a lot of times people paint themselves to be somebody who they really are not. And the proof is always in the pudding.
It's in the pudding.
When you put these people in rooms with people who do not look like them, the people who are extremely, fish out of water, reveal themselves very fast.
Immediately.
And I think
it happens to us all the time.
That's why I feel so strongly about this. Like I stand on everything I said about it. This is because I've experienced this. And now I'm seeing it coming home to roost. Yeah. And that's it.
Happens to us all the time. I have friends from childhood who are from, obviously all walks of life. We both went to we was like the minority every school we went to. So in truth, it's like, how you don't know how to be around people. He's still a person of color. That's what's weird to me. Like, he's still an indigenous person. And some may argue the way they have treated them, you know what I mean? Like, not even that it's comparable, but it's like, people act like they don't even exist. Like, indigenous people don't even exist. So the fact that you could be in his face. First, the first thing she said that I thought was so odd. And this is from a woman I've almost exclusively dated. Joe probably is like one or two black men I've dated. And so having exclusively dated only other walks of life, the idea that you would sit in somebody's face and ask them have they said the N-word is the weirdest thing to me. It's almost like you wanted him to say yes.
I would never ask a white person or anybody who was remotely Caucasian-esque.
Leaning,
because
exactly.
Obviously, like I said, you look at him, and if you don't know, he presents as a white man.
Or Asian. Right? He presents to me as Asian.
So I would never...
But either way.
I would never ask somebody like that. Unless... Here's the caveat. Unless I was looking for some smoke.
Right.
I would never ask anybody, hey, have you used the N-word before? Unless I was intentionally woke up on the wrong side of the bed that morning, or I'm like, we finna F some stuff up today.
But you know what, Joe? Let me go a step further with this. A lot of y'all not ready to have that conversation about the questions y'all ask people. When the last time you cheated on somebody? All those questions, that's because you want smoke.
Yeah.
The truth is, if you didn't exist in the life, outside of you saying, are you an abuse? Like, you asking the wrong questions. How do you argue? That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, have you ever gotten in a woman's face or whatever? Y'all not asking those men talking questions. Do you say the N-word? Girl, are you crazy? I just was like, why do you want to be hurt so bad? Why you want to be upset so bad? It really broke my heart. And I really want to know, y'all busting in the comments, y'all let us know. Y'all asking people if they saying the N-word? Like, I need to know. Or anything crazy like that. Like, y'all, we're all living a human experience. And just like in the same conversation, she completely offended this man. This man literally said to her, I've used it. I was ignorant. He gave a whole explanation. She punched him for the ancestors or whatever the hell that was. And then he asked her the same question. Why? Because now you opened up a can of worms. And
that's why y'all had a whole day go left on your retreat, because that's where y'all decided to open this. You'd open this door.
You, not y'all.
And then it went left, and you lost the whole day.
And you lost it because go ahead, babe.
This is why Austin does the things that he does with Becca. That's what I'm talking about.
That's true. Because he just answered your question.
1,000%. He just answered your question. But then you open the door up, and now y'all sitting in a hot tub in beautiful Cabo, or wherever the heck y'all Mexico, at, and y'all arguing about whether or not somebody has said a racial slur, and when they was 10 years old.
But the truth of the matter is, he cleared her. He cleared her, because what she thought she was going to say was, oh, well, I'm looking at your skin. I thought this was completely out of line. I don't even want to repeat it. But imagine, let's say the tables are turned. I don't even want to repeat it because I found it completely abhorrent. Imagine the tables are turned, and she says, well, do you understand why there's an issue with calling black people a monkey? And he would look at you in your face and say, oh, yeah, because you look like a monkey right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? We would be up in arms. It would be Black Lives Matter. We would be outside Lifetime Studios. Are you nuts? What is up with people? But that's the worldly comment. That's the word. Y'all searching the world on the internet. You're not experiencing the world
at all.
And that's the worldly comment. I couldn't even believe she said it out her mouth. I couldn't even believe she would ever make somebody feel that way.
She giggled about it.
And then giggled in this, play all up in this man's face. And that man hit her with I would never want you to feel that way. I don't feel like I would ever have to say anything like that back to you, because I don't want you to experience those feelings. And how stupid do you feel?
Not only that,
cleared her.
I didn't like the piss poor attempt at gaslighting him. Oh, I don't even like how you handling me, right? What she said? She said, as a black woman, I don't even like how you handling me right now. And this and
he ain't do nothing but. But you're used to being called a funky dog head ass, and that's why you're responding to him in this manner, because you want him to almost turn up on you. It's no way somebody lets you know, I don't ever want you to feel that way, so I would never even joke about stuff like that. And then you take issue with that. Yeah. You want smoke.
Yeah, it just seems very self-sabotagey. Like you are trying to, you want some smoke, you know what I mean? It's just very weird.
It's very weird. Then y'all finally cool. You get to the table, tell the man you want to throw your pum-pum in his face.
Also very weird.
Cringe.
Lady, I don't even know you.
Cringe.
She gonna say, oh, I think you will start with fellatio from you. What?
I don't even know what your pH.
But not only that, just like you said when you turn the tables about the race thing that you mentioned, the
sexuality thing.
But also, imagine a man sat up here on Married at First Sight and said, "You gonna start by I'm gonna get some bobblehead from you, and that's how we gonna start."
That again.
Like, are you serious? Like, imagine if he would have said, "I think it would start by you giving me some head." What? I can't believe she said. We was watching it on the plane.
We were watching it on the plane.
And I almost made a noise out loud.
But what did I do? I had on the headphones. I threw the headphones and said,
yeah, she took the headphones out.
I can't do it.
That's one of the wildest exchanges I've seen on this show.
Absolutely.
For myself,
insane.
watching this show is the longest I've been watching it.
And it was cringy. And he was meeting her where she was at. So I appreciated that. But then they start talking about the last time they had sex, which also I felt like she wanted smoke because she brought that up.
Yes. Yes, 1,000%.
Because after he said he hadn't had sex for a year and a half, your stupid ass was supposed to say, me too. Why y'all always think y'all gotta tell people the truth? Like, what is that about?
Because to me, it's a very, I think some people feel like they're testing you. They want to be loud and in your face.
1,000%.
Like, and what? And if you don't come to my side of things, then you know we're at an impasse now, and I'm gonna beat my chest about it. And I think that...
Ooh, you on it today.
I don't like that.
And that's exactly what it was, Joe. Because after that man said he hadn't been intimate for a year and a half, he would have never been able to ask me the last time I was intimate because I'd have had a million questions for him about his journey across the year and a half. So you haven't been intimate in a year and a half. Have you dated anybody in a year and a half? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like, why do you think you chose that path? Like, there's so many other things we can go down before we even get to me and what I'm doing in the streets. And when you get there, and ladies, I mean this, and I tell my single friends this all the time. Knowledge is power. And power can be wielded one of two ways, for good or for evil, okay? And y'all be giving people too much power. And I don't understand that. Like, my thing is, you could have had the conversation about, first of all, you should have never even asked him when. Well, he's an adult. If he decided to have sex 2 months before y'all got married, that would have been on him in the same way you did. Would you want your spouse to know you was...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't get it. I don't get I mean... The whole line of questioning to me, again, you at the dinner table. You're at dinner on your honeymoon. And you talking about when he had sex last. This is how you set up a night?
And what he tell your stupid ass? I guess we won't be screwing because you like to be out here spread eagle and I'm done.
I mean, what is more of a turnoff than hearing who your woman done slept with and how soon she... And what we supposed to go back to the room after this? Y'all, this is what I was saying. Like, you have to, especially...
Read a room.
Especially in marriage. Again, like I've said, as an adult, life is going to life.
Yeah.
We don't have to make sure that is a term that we put on the threshold when you walk in the house.
Right. We don't have to create an issue.
We don't have to create an issue. We don't have to make sure that we constantly acknowledge that we're going to have hard times. So when you have time to curate a moment, a situation, an event, an outing, a trip, whatever, and you can incubate that and make it everything you want to make it, please do it. And I think I might be a little hypersensitive to that because of who my wife is, because the sun got to be leaning to the east and the temperature got to be blowing from north to south, and so I am constantly thinking about how I can keep this space curated so that my night goes how I want it to go, because if it's not,
all you gotta do is buy me a gift. Your night will always go the way
it still won't matter, because then she'll get in the room and it's too hot or it's too.
I don't like to be hot.
She don't like it's. This is a conversation for another day. It's so
don't do me.
It's so
don't
many things. It's so many things that got to be right in the world. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just so. I think that's why I'm hypersensitive to it. But I also know that in general, it matters, especially when you do life with somebody and there's so many things happening.
Yeah,
you fixing the house, you fixing the car, you might have kids, you working and she working and da. So this space. In a hot tub in Cabo or on the beach having dinner, this space has to be protected. Yeah. I talk about protecting your energy, protecting your space, especially with your spouse, a lot. And I think it matters even when it's just you two and you're trying, because even when it's just you two, the outside world can creep in. Like I said, we could be somewhere vibing and she might can't help it, but she'll just drop something like, hey, so what are we going to do X, Y, and Z about the house? And I'm like, girl, we have
I do that
we don't
a lot.
Like, you know what I mean? But that's what I mean. Life will just do that to you, to your mental, because we live in a culture where they take naps over there, and you know what I mean. But in America, we got to be getting it. We got to be working. We always got to. We can't even go to the bar and have a conversation and not be about work and
Right, that's
because
true.
we in America. So what we doing next? What we tackling next? And I think that you have to learn how to quiet these spaces and curate them and keep the energy up in these spaces and these lines of questioning, especially when y'all dating and y'all asking who they was screwing and when they was screwing them, and that's not how you curate a happy night.
I think that the biggest issue is, the truth of the matter is, if this is a conversation in a Shiloh, she's okay. But you already had an infraction, right? You already done said something inappropriate. So now I'm starting to gain an opinion about you. Does that make sense?
Right.
So now, because you've done that first thing, I'm starting to look at you a little like, I'm already looking at you sideways, I keep trying to reset. And then you turn around, you say some stuff like this. Because in truth, her disclosing the last time she was intimate, it's not a big deal. They weren't together, whatever the case may be. But the problem is that that's not how life works. And that's not how people work. You can't, people don't think that way. You know what I mean? It's just not that logical. Like, I could say as a woman, like, okay, that's real life, right? But he could still have feelings about it. And you gave him room for that.
This all the time. This is why I don't like having these conversations. Because in black and white and on paper,
right,
everything is up and up. You were single, he was single, but that's not how life works. So I could say something that I could be perfectly within my bounds to have said or did, but it doesn't matter because this person that I'm talking to is human. So they going to remember X part of the conversation or whatever, and then it's going to come up a month from now or a year from now. I don't like having these because it's not. And then I think a lot of times it's ego. Like people just feel like, well, I can say it and what? And it's just like.
Joe, I think, honey, you're right on. I think you're spot on because I think about the conversations I have with my friends and the things that they ask men or whatever the case may be. And I quite literally ask them, now, what did you expect to gain from asking that question? Because you had an agenda and you're going to sit up here and tell me that question just popped up in your brain. And you know, like I know, that's not the truth. So what did you expect to gain from asking this person this? What was it? Whether it's, or what did you expect to gain from disclosing a certain information? I want to tell a story, but I'm not going to do it.
No, you should tell it.
Somebody I know was like dating this guy or whatever, and they disclosed that to this guy that they had first started dating, that they really liked, that they were going on a date with somebody else. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I said, what did you expect to gain by telling him that? Well, I was just telling him that. I said, no, you weren't just telling him that. You wanted him to make a decision. You wanted him to say, no, you won't date that other man because you're going to date me. So now what you did was put the ball in his court. And now if he doesn't give you the answer that you want, now what? When you could have just kept dating all the men that you wanted to date. And then when he decided he wanted to be exclusive, allow him to do that. Why? Because he a man. Okay? And they will let you know. But it's like, and they will verbally let you know that they're ready for that. I'm like, you set yourself up because in truth, you could have just went with the flow. He didn't have to know what was going on in your house. It's your mammy tap mouse. But because you wanted him to make a decision, because your ego got involved, now you at the behest of this person and their decision making. And that's what I'm saying. Don't give people the information to paint a narrative about you in moments you don't have to.
1,000%, because that's what I'm doing. You ask me something, I don't even have to answer you. I'm judging you. I don't even
have to answer you. The moment, but in truth, most people on the other side of that, babe, is doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. I think
because that's exactly what Orion did.
Yeah.
He's going to answer you, right? And he's hypersensitive. Yeah. What's up now? Now I'm really paying attention. And I think that's where I think in her way of trying to control this situation and inadvertently control him and how he sees her, she's painting an ugly picture.
And it's just a lot of ego involved. Like it's just, I think a lot of times when people ask these questions, it's really just flexing this muscle where they want to come off as very brazen and bold, and I it's almost like they want you to be almost intimidated by them because I have the gumption to ask you this question.
Right.
It's almost just for shock value sometimes, I feel. And because I feel like when people are just having genuine conversation, it never goes like that.
Ever.
Even though you can... And
it might organically go to...
I'm about to say, even though you can have conversation and get into very revealing or intimate topics and things of that matter, but it still doesn't unfold like that.
But if I'm talking about intimacy with my husband, why would I bring up with intimacy
with somebody else? 1,000%. 1,000%.
I mean, it's just that point blank period for me.
I'll never understand it.
Like how? So was he supposed to be hot and bothered?
I'll never understand it. But this is a situation where I fully think that Lauren is going to be trying Orion a lot.
The other thing for me is
difficult to watch.
They were talking about their, want to explore certain things, having a red room, this and that. You introduce all that and then turn around and tell the man you were intimate 2 months ago. He in his brain thinking you swinging from chandeliers.
Oh yeah, he don't know what to think. He don't know you.
It's 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. It's like, you know what I mean?
He doesn't know what to think for sure.
So yeah, that's all we got. We ain't got no more.
Yeah, we talked about everything.
Why are you smiling?
I was trying to think, and it made me think of the hot tub conversation again.
And the ick. She should be ashamed of herself.
The fellatio conversation.
Oh my God.
That was wild.
She gonna throw her pum pum in the man. Listen, y'all. Do us a favor, bust down, subscribe to this Mimi Tatum channel. Let us know how y'all felt about the conversation, about, disclosing certain information, the N-word conversation, all of that. Like, I want to know what you guys are thinking about that. We ain't got no more. We hope you had a wonderful holiday, and we'll talk to you guys, I guess, later this week. Peace. Bye.